In this video, we'll take a quick look at online learning. A typical online class may look something like this. The students log in to the learning management system to access the course material and activities. Each student learns independently through the web-based content. An online class is, by definition, completely online. All content, tests, homework, and other activities are online, and almost all contact with the instructor and classmates is virtual. Most activities in an online class are asynchronous at different times. There can also be some synchronous or real-time activities, such as chats, in an online class as well. Think about what makes a good or bad classroom experience. A good class normally would have interaction, not isolation, engaged students, and an instructor who cares about student success. A good class is relevant to the real world, and students get a lot of feedback. A bad class, on the other hand, would have disengaged students or instructors, endless droning lectures, and busy work. What else would you consider a trait of a good or bad class? All of these are true for online classes as well. Just how you implement them changes. So what are the advantages to online classes? The greatest advantage is flexibility. Students can learn when and where it's most convenient for them. Online classes give students access to a variety of courses that may not be available from local schools. Online classes offer more support for different learning styles. The content often includes readings, videos, podcasts, images, and activities. Students can go through the material at their own pace. The online class environment is a democratizer. Students are more equal here. Instead of being judged on appearance, speech, personality, or attitude, students are measured on their contributions to the class. Factors such as race, wealth, or social standings are not as visible here. Online classes give the instructor opportunity to interact with students who would not normally participate in class. Shy and introverted students are often more comfortable in an online environment than in the classroom, and online classes encourage the creation of reusable learning objects. Once you build a content module, activity, test, or assignment, it's easy to reuse it year after year or include it in other courses. For example, a section on MLA or APA citations would be part of an English class, but it could also be included in other classes where they are writing a large paper. There are also many challenges to online learning. First, students must have reliable access to a computer and the Internet. While school computer labs and libraries are an option, it is not as convenient for students as being able to work on their classes at home. Students have a greater responsibility for managing their time in an online class. There is not a set time when they should be in class, so it's easier to procrastinate and fall behind. Online classes have a greater time commitment than most face-to-face classes. It can take more time to read or view all of the material compared to just listening to a lecture. Online discussion boards take a lot more time than in-class conversations. There is no direct contact between the instructor and students. Email is the most common communication channel, and that takes time for a conversation to go back and forth. There is no stopping by the desk after class to ask a question. And it can be more challenging to ensure academic honesty in an online class, as you can't physically watch the students take a test or complete an activity. In addition to building the content and assessments, there's a few other items that need to be included in planning an online class. First, the course schedule. The schedule is more important in an online class than a face-to-face class. The entire schedule should be planned out and posted from the very first day of class. Many online classes use a weekly repeating schedule. For example, discussions are due by Wednesday, and any assignments, tests, or quizzes due by Friday. Some classes may need more frequent due dates. Plan out your communication policy. How should instructors and students communicate in the class? What are the time frames for replies? The usual recommendation for instructors is to reply to students within 24 hours, but this is not always feasible. Is there a last time you will check your email for the day? What about on weekends? Let students know when you are available and when they can expect a reply. Consider using multiple channels. Discussion boards, instant message, video chat, or phone calls are also options. Also plan out your grading and feedback policy. How soon will you provide grades and feedback for students? What activities are graded in the course? Consider your academic honesty policy. In truth, consider all tests open book, open note, unless you can have it proctored. Provide multiple ways for students to show their mastery of the subject, and use higher-level questions whenever possible. Also, student behavior is a consideration in online classes, just as it is for face-to-face classes. Consider drafting up classroom netiquette rules that both teacher and students will follow. What penalties will there be for disruptive behavior online, such as rudeness or rants on the discussion boards? An online class is more than PowerPoints and tests put online. An online class is a series of interactions between the student and the material, between the student and the instructor, and between the student and other students. Students interacting with the material involve students reading or viewing the course content. This occurs even when students pick up a book from the library or go to a website to learn something new. In a good online class, the content should be engaging. Use multimedia when appropriate. Videos or narrated images can invoke dual-channel processing. Our brains process visuals and audio separately, so students can retain more knowledge when they see something and listen to a description than when they just see something and read a description. When possible, allow access to all material. Let the students go back and review previous lessons, even once the due dates have passed, and let students read ahead. Keep technical limitations in mind. If students have slow internet connections, long or high-resolution videos will have a hard time loading properly. Some programs require specific hardware. Do students have it? Smartphones can access the internet, but the small screens limit what they can see. And if your students have iPhones or iPads, Flash-based activities will not load. Students should have the opportunity to interact with other students in a community of learners. Outside the classroom, we call it collaboration or networking. There are many tools to foster student cooperation, communication, and collaboration, including Google Drive and Google Hangouts, virtual whiteboards, and even social networking like Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Many students dislike group projects, since there is inevitably one student who lets everyone else in the group carry their weight. Help prevent that by having group members grade each other, or list out what each person did and how it contributed to the whole. Freeloaders get lower grades. Online classes are also good for the shy and introverted students. They are normally more comfortable participating in online discussion boards than class discussions, since they can take the time to make sure that their post is exactly what they want to say and don't feel the pressure that they can in the classroom. We know that students benefit from having an instructor who cares about their success, who is available to help them, encourage them, and hold them accountable. That is true online as well. The online instructor should be the guide on the side, supporting students, reaching out to struggling students, and providing feedback to help them grow and learn. Anything wanting to be considered a class needs at least 2 of these 3 interactions. The old correspondence classes, dating back to the 1800s, had students interacting with the material and interacting with the instructor through letters. The massive open online classes, or MOOCs, that are offered through a number of schools and organizations have students interacting with the material and with other students. But because there are thousands or even tens of thousands of students, the instructors cannot interact with them all. And for most MOOCs, a completion rate of over 10% is great. How would that work in your class? A good online class needs all 3 interactions to be a great online class.